Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Dose of Awesome. This is Tuesday, May 1st. Happy May Day. My name is Bob Clark. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the founding members of the Daily Dose of Awesome, and I come back periodically to torture you guys, to catch up, and I just love this community so much. So happy to be here today. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 success habits of highly effective part-time entrepreneurs. Okay, the good news is that most of these will also apply if you're full-time. So buckle up, we're good, and get ready here. What I'm also going to be able to show you is how you can use these success habits in your own business, okay, to get more done, to have a life, build a business, have a life, and to get more done and to get more results. So if you're just coming on, let me know where you're coming from. Hey, Tom, good to see you, man. Glenwood Springs, Colorado, good to see you. Awesome. As you're coming on here, let me know where you're coming in from so I can give you a shout out. Awesome to see you. And guys, if you're on here and maybe you're full-time, but you know others who are part-time who can't come to this session, make sure you tag them within the community so that they can get access to this video, because sometimes things get lost in the feed a little bit. We got a lot of participation, a lot of great things going on in the EMP community. And I'm excited, guys, that we switched platforms here. We're just doing these inside the group, the EMP group, because that means I can kind of roll up my sleeves and get, I don't have to be so formal. And, I know it's just you guys, and I can really get down and dirty and help you guys as much as I can. So make sure you come on and say hello when you're coming in. So yesterday in the Daily Dose of Awesome, I was watching Brandy Shaver, and she talked about how to build your business faster without working more. Okay, and she talked about a book by called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. That's one of my all-time favorite books. Hey, Jan, how are you? One of my all-time favorite books. I highly recommend, if you don't have that, you get it. It's pretty much the Bible for anybody who's part-time in their business. It's just a hugely effective book. But much of what Brandy talked about segues really nicely into what I'm going to talk about today. So that's awesome as well. Petroline, good to see you here from South Africa. That's so awesome. Welcome, welcome. Curtis, good. You're from Columbus, Ohio. Good to have you, Curtis. Good to see you, man. You guys are so awesome. So I just love this place so much. Celeste is here. Hi, Celeste. How are you? Everybody is piling in. All right. So if you're excited about this topic, about the success habits of highly effective part-time entrepreneurs, give me a 1 in the comments. Let me know if this is a good topic for you. And if I have time at the end, I'm going to kind of talk to you about a hidden fear related to success that most people never even know is holding them back. So if I get time, I'll do that. If not, I'll do a separate Daily Dose of Awesome for you on that. Awesome. The ones are flying in. Guys, so great to see you. Wow. This is such a fantastic community. I love it here. Okay. So you know what? Let's get into it. Let's get into the meat of the training so I can get this out to you, and we can all be on our way, because listen, we're all busy, right? We all got stuff to do. I understand. Okay. So 7 success habits of highly effective part-time entrepreneurs. Most of which are applicable to everyone, part-time or full-time. Okay, number 1, they don't label themselves as part-timers. Okay, it really serves no purpose to label yourself as part-time, or by that matter, label yourself as new, or label yourself as struggling. Okay, this doesn't serve you at all. Okay, really what you are is you're on a journey, right? And this is just one point on your journey. Okay, if you're part-time, you're transitioning to full-time, right? If you're new, you're transitioning to experienced. If you're struggling, you're transitioning to making it happen and not struggling anymore, right? You're just in one little snapshot, one point of your journey. Don't label yourself, okay? Because your mind will suck it in. You'll start believing it, okay? So don't do that, because it's just really a way to kind of get your mind working against you, if you will. So I found that, if you find yourself saying to someone, well, or to yourself, I'm only part-time, or I'm new to this, or I'm really struggling, kind of counter that. Stop yourself. Even if you have to yell stop, right? Stop. Yell it to yourself. Yell it out loud if you have to. People will look, but who cares, right? You got to stop that thinking, because you're not part-time, right? You're not new. You're not struggling. You're just at one point in your journey right now, and you're transitioning to something better, okay? So that's the number 1 thing, is that most part-timers, successful part-timers, have the habit of not labeling themselves at all. And that's super important. Yeah, Curtis, I like it too. It really helps me a lot. So you guys are loving this. I love it. Lots of hearts. Thank you so much. The hearts do something to me. I don't know what it is. The heart. I just love the hearts. So keep them coming, guys. Habit number 2 of highly successful part-time entrepreneurs is they understand the value of time. Okay, we all know the thing, right? You can make more money, you can't make more time. We've all heard that. But part-timers, successful ones that I know, take it a step further, and they understand that time is money, and you can't be waiting around for large blocks of time to present themselves to you to build your business, right? It's rare. It's rare that that large chunks of time, kind of like 2 or 3 hours at a time, present itself to you during your day and say, here, work on your business, right? It doesn't happen to me very often. I don't know. Maybe it happens to you, but it doesn't happen to me. Successful part-timers and full-timers are really good at using those small bits of time that come up during the day to be effective to their business, okay? The 15 minutes waiting at the doctor's office for an appointment, right? The 20 minutes waiting outside your kid's school to pick them up, right? The half hour of your commute. Part-timers and full-timers alike who are successful are really good at utilizing these small bits of time. I know I've said this before, maybe you've heard it, but have you really heard it? Are you really doing it? Right? Most people aren't. So really successful people utilize those small bits of time really, really effectively. And so I always say, size doesn't matter, at least when it comes to being a part-time entrepreneur. All right, success habit number 3, they fail forward, okay? Successful marketers of all kinds, part-time, full-time, doesn't matter, understand that failing forward is the only way to go. Mistakes are not only optional, they're critical, right? Now, I've said this before, and you probably heard this, but on a job, in most jobs, mistakes are discouraged. Sometimes you're even penalized for making mistakes on the job. Sometimes you're fired, right? But in business, you got to make mistakes because it means you're taking action. Okay, so the more mistakes you're making, the more mistakes I make, the happier I am, honestly, because I know I'm taking action. And even though it's imperfect action, it's action. And I can always tweak as I go, right? So make sure that you're failing forward. It's okay, right? There's no penalizing you in your business for making a mistake, okay? It doesn't happen. It's just one more way that doesn't work until you find the way that does. And that's the way that we look at it. So that's super, super important as well. Trait number 4, tip number 4 for successful part-time entrepreneurs is they keep things short. Okay, now this is really important for everybody, but especially for people who have limited time for their business. They keep things short, meaning don't get on the phone with a new prospect and spend an hour with them going over their whole life and what's going on. Right? It may feel good. It may feel like it's a good thing, but you've got to make that, 15 minutes and run, 15 minutes and run, 15 minutes I got to run. Always be busy, because you can't afford to sit there for an hour of your really, really valuable time on the phone with a prospect who doesn't move, right? I know it feels good to talk to them and to give them all the help they want. That's great, but you're in a business, okay? And you're in a business with limited time. So keep things short, keep things concise, keep moving. Always be busy. That's a really important tip. Same thing with lists, to-do lists, okay? I used to be one of these guys who had a to-do list 15 things long, right? And every day I'd cross off 1 or 2 things and copy them to the next day. And that doesn't do anything for your psyche, and it doesn't do anything for your productivity, for sure, okay? You got to keep those to-do lists short. 1 or 2 things on your to-do list every day, okay? Important question. What are the 1 or 2 things I can do today that'll have the biggest impact on my business, right? Make that your to-do list. Hit those 2 things. Okay, you can have other lists. You can have project lists. You can have other kinds of lists. But that list that you look at all during the day, that to-do list, make it short. Okay, make it things that you can cross off. And make it the most important things you can do that day that will have the biggest impact to your business. Super, super important. Okay, success habit number 5 is successful part-time entrepreneurs make the right comparisons. Okay, you guys digging this? Hey, give me a 2 if you're digging this. I love this stuff, but I get carried away with it because I really like it so much. I live this stuff. I train on it. I teach it. I do it in my business, and I just know what works and what doesn't. So I love to train on it. But not everybody does. So maybe you're not like it. I don't know. But hit me a 2 if you like it. So we'll see how things are going. Lots of 2 reporting. Good. You guys are on with me. Fantastic. Okay, number 5, they make the right comparisons. Okay. One of the worst things a part-time person can do is compare themselves to a full-time person, right? And I see it all the time. I used to do it, so I get it. I understand it. Okay. Number 5, somebody says repeat number 5. They make the right comparisons. Okay. Comparing yourself, a part-timer to a full-timer, makes no sense to me. I used to do it, but it makes no sense to me because it's apples and oranges, right? You can't compare it. The only comparisons that matter, guys, the only comparisons that matters are your yesterdays to your todays, and trying as best as you can each day, each week, each month to be a little bit better in your business than you were the day before. Okay. So if today I want to be a little bit better than yesterday, this week I want to be a little bit better than last week, this month I want to be a lot better than last month. Okay. And to do that by taking consistent action every day, putting your nose to the grindstone and just doing the actions that you know will get you results, and being patient, right? But the only comparisons to matter are your yesterdays to your todays. Super important. And again, this is stuff that's easy to say, but you got to practice it. So when you catch yourself, okay, when you catch yourself comparing yourself to others, which don't beat yourself up. We all do it, right? But when you catch yourself doing that, remind yourself verbally that that comparison is not valid. I don't know the whole story of what's happening with this other person I'm comparing myself to. The only comparisons I want to make, okay, how did I do yesterday? How did I do today? Did I do just as well or better? Fantastic. Did I drop off? Okay, what happened? Those are the only comparisons you want to make. Okay. Number 6, part-time entrepreneurs let their mouse do the walking. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this other than to say that you really need to be leveraging technology if you're part-time. Okay, and you're full-time as well. I think nowadays you've got to be leveraging technology to extend your reach, to reach out to more people with a single action. It's just if you're not doing it, it's foolish. You really have to. You have to embrace technology. Listen, I'm old school. I'm 60 years old, so I didn't always embrace technology, but I've learned over time that this is the way, this is the future, and I'm going to embrace it. So I need to learn. I need to learn how to do stuff. But it's not really that hard once you get it. And you just got to lean on people who know what to do. If you have younger kids, teenagers, lean on them. They know how to do this stuff, right? I've got kids who are in their 20s. I just ask them, how do you do this? And they know right away. So just lean on other people if you have to, but learn it. So I'll give you my 3 favorite technology platforms that I would not do without in my business. Number 1, social media, of course, right? Of course, social media groups. Running ads, such an incredible way to reach out to so many people with one action. You got to be leveraging that. That's why we teach it so heavily in Elite Marketing Pro, the ads part, and to the social media recruiter. These are skills, guys, that will take you so far if you have little time. It's great. Number 2 is an email distribution software like Aweber or Drip or GetResponse or something like that. If you're building a list, you've got to have that. One email, you reach out to hundreds, thousands of people. It's fantastic. And the third one is Zoom or some webinar platform, but I like Zoom a lot. It's very stable in my hands. Some way where you can get on and get your voice heard. I know it's scary, guys, but you got to do it. Get your voice heard. And one broadcast reaching out like I'm doing today to hundreds of people. It's so effective of your time. It's so amazing. Okay, and number 7, habit number 7, I'm running up on time here. Habit number 7 is don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, you don't have time to reinvent the wheel as a part-timer or a full-timer. There's so many moving parts to a business nowadays that you don't have time to redo it all yourself, or the money probably, right? That's why having a system like Elite Marketing Pro is so important, because here you have the training, you have the support, you have the leadership, you have the products, you have the coaching, you have the funnels, you have the offers, all done for you in one place. What better place can you be? It's fantastic, right? Because you can't afford to do it all alone. It's not something you can do. All right, so if you guys are digging all this, hit me up with a number 3. I'm going to extend a little bit. It's okay if I go a couple minutes longer today, guys, because I've got something. I want to talk about this fear that nobody really talks about. And I'm going to tell you how I learned about it, how it reminded me, how I got reminded about it in a minute. So everybody says, awesome. Give me a yay, go ahead if it's all right to keep going. I'll wait for you guys to say it. Curtis says, yeah, go ahead. Awesome, awesome, okay. All the threes are piling in. So people are loving this stuff. The hearts are piling in. You guys warm my heart. I'm so honored to be here. I know I speak fast, I'm sorry, but I'm just a fast-paced person. And we had the recording, luckily, so you guys can always catch up on it again if I talk too fast. Okay, don't stop, says Tom. All right, Tom, I'm not going to stop. I got one more thing to talk to you about, and this is going to be big, okay? So make sure you're paying attention. And actually, I heard this on, I believe it was a EMP Fast Start community. Someone made a comment about how a fear of success is actually getting in their way because I think with her, I believe with her, she was concerned when the fear inside of her that if she was highly successful in her business, then she wouldn't have time for her children. Right? Now that's deep. And what happened was she said this, I think, and I talked to her later about it, and she just posted thinking that nobody would really agree or understand that. And all these people piled on with their different versions of the fear of success, right? The fear that I used to have, and this was also stated in there, of building a team and not having the time to support them and to give them what they need to fail them. That was a big one for me, right? The fear of losing that security of a paycheck because you're successful that you can quit your job, so then you lose that security of a paycheck. And what if things don't keep going well, right? Losing security. I mean, it's a fake security, but that's a fear people have, right? Like we said, fear of not being able to take care of your family, fear of becoming someone you don't want to become when you're successful, right? Changing, fear of losing friends, your old-time friends who will think you've changed because now you're successful, right? Have you guys ever had anything like that? Drop me a 6 if you've ever even thought about something like this, because I'm curious whether it's just a select group of people or if it's everybody. Because I'll tell you what, that fear I had of not being able to support my team because I was working so much in my job, in my profession, that fear I had for quite a while stunted me in my business. And I didn't even know it. I didn't verbalize it was a fear. I didn't know it was a fear of success. That was kind of taught to me by somebody else I was kind of working with back then, a mindset. But this whole thing came up, and it's like, holy cow, if I'm thinking this subconsciously, wow, what is it doing to my actions? And I did find myself at one point, believe it or not, I was on a roll. I was getting people in my business, and one more person was about to join. And I thought to myself, I remember thinking of it, wow, this is weird. I thought to myself, gosh, what if this person joins? I don't know if I have time for all these people, right? And you know what? Bam, that person didn't join, right? They backed out at the last second. I don't know if the two are related, but I know the thought was there. I know the action was there. A lot of people are saying 6, so I think a lot of you guys have had the same kind of thing. So what can you do, right? If the fear of success, if you're internalizing that, what can you do? Okay, the two things I did that helped me a lot were, number one, think to yourself, is there really evidence? Is this really true? Is there really evidence that I won't have time to support my team? Is there really evidence that I won't have time to take care of my kids? Is there really evidence that I'll change as a person? I mean, is this the truth, or is this something that I'm just telling myself? Okay, introduce that into your mindset, that doubt that maybe this stuff isn't real. Right? And then number 2, the biggest thing is go out and find somebody who's successful, who's already doing what you want to do. Okay, so in other words, if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're worried that being highly successful will take away time to devote to your family, to your children, go find someone who's a mom who's really successful in their business, and ask them how they deal with their children. Right? Ask them if they have enough time, and I bet you they do. Right? Because most successful people make time for priorities of what matter, right? But go out and find the people in your lives or in business or in EMP or anywhere else that are successful and are making it happen and have jobs, right? That have a family they're supporting, or ask them, did you change as a person? If you did, what happened? Right? Get it out in the open. let things come out so that at least you're dealing with a solid deck that you know is true, right? And then you can work through stuff that you have to work through. But make sure you're dealing with the truth, and then find people who are in the same situation, are successful, and see how are they dealing with it. And then ask yourself this third question. If they're doing it and they're successful and they're taking care of their families, right? They're taking care of their teams with less time. They're not changing, they're dealing with their old friends. If they're doing it, why not me? Why not me? Why shouldn't I be able to do it? And the answer is, why not you? Of course you can do it, right? But this is the constant things we have to be thinking about, telling ourselves, because our minds play tricks on us, right? Our mind kind of wants us to stay where we are because maybe it's comfortable. Maybe it's not, and that's fine. But for many of us, we're comfortable enough. Even though we're striving for more, we're comfortable enough that our mind will play tricks and not want us to move forward. And this fear of success to me, is that one way that your mind can really sabotage your success and your results, just by putting these fears in your head, even though they may not be based on truth at all. So I thought that was a very cool fear that I don't really hear many people talking about. Only a few times have I heard that. And a lot of people talk about it and don't really know exactly what that is. But that's what it is. It's a fear of success. And good news is, if you suffer from that fear of success, you can definitely get out of it, as with any of these fears that we face, just by facing up to it and finding people who've already done it and are successful and are making it happen. And why not you? You can do it too. Guys, I hope you've had a great time. Let me see some of the comments here before I go. Tom says, families come first. Yes, of course. Absolutely. Yes, that's why we need, Herta says, that's why we need to train everyone to lead with us. Also, that's true. Joy says, I don't fear success. I would more embrace it. My fear is that I would bungle things up and cause my setback. All kinds of fears out there, Joy. All kinds of fears. If you don't have fear of success, that's awesome. It's one less to worry about. So we all attack our fears in different ways. You're welcome, Bristol. Glad you're here. Again, guys, if you like this, and if you know somebody who couldn't make it because they have a job, because they're taking care of their kids, whatever, make sure you tag them on the video in the comments so that they'll be able to find this video very easily and listen to it tonight. Guys, thank you so much for having me again. I will see you on my next Daily Dose of Awesome. Take care.